Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Renuka and with me is Manoj Singh Rana bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Co-win platform is now open source. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlights India's commitment to share experiences, expertise and resources with the global community to fight COVID-19. US President Joe Biden says COVID-19 is yet to be vanquished in his Independence Day speech. Boxer MC Mary Kom and men's hockey team captain Manpreet Singh named flag bearers of the Indian contingent for the opening ceremony Tokyo Olympics. In Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic and Denis Shapovalov advanced to the men's single quarterfinals. In Europe Cup football, Italy to clash with Spain in first semi-final at Wembley tomorrow. And the 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, will be held in Goa from the 20th to the 28th of November this year. As a nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday inaugurated the Co-win Global Conclave as India presented the indigenously developed Co-win platform to the world at the virtual global meet of representatives from 142 countries. In line with India's philosophy of considering the whole world as one family, the Prime Minister said that the Co-win platform is being made open source and available to any and all countries to combat the COVID-19.
Civilization considers the whole world as one family. The pandemic has made many people realize the fundamental truth of this philosophy. That is why our technology platform for COVID vaccination, the platform we call Co-win, is being prepared to be made open source. Soon it will be available in any and all countries.
Highlighting India's commitment for sharing experiences, expertise and resources with the global community, the Prime Minister also expressed India's eagerness to learn from global practices. Mr. Modi stressed on the importance of technology in the fight against the pandemic.
Technology is integral to our fight against COVID-19. Luckily, software is one area in which there are no resource constraints. That is why we made our COVID tracking and tracing app open source as soon as it was technically feasible. With nearly 200 million users, this Arogya Setu app is readily available package for developers. Having been used in India, you can be sure that it has been tested in the real world for speed and scale.
The Prime Minister said that given the importance of vaccination, India decided to adopt a completely digital approach while planning its vaccination strategy.
Right from the beginning, we in India decided to adopt a completely digital approach while planning our vaccination strategy. In today's globalized world, if the post-pandemic world has to return to normalcy, such a digital approach is essential. After all, people must be able to prove that they have been vaccinated. Such proof must be safe, secure and trustworthy.
Digital approach also helps in tracking the usage of vaccination and minimizes wastage. The Prime Minister informed that through Co-win, India has administered 350 million doses of COVID vaccines, including 9 million people in one day a few days ago. More than 35 crore 28 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. India's Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, more than 14,81,000 vaccine doses were administered. The recovery rate has improved to 97.11%.
Now let's take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world. US President Joe Biden, speaking at the country's Independence Day on Sunday, said that the country is roaring back to post-pandemic life. However, he cautioned Americans that COVID-19 is yet to be fully vanquished. He said that powerful variants such as the Delta variant remain, cautioning against complacency. Speaking about a crowd of 1,000 guests on the White House South Lawn, Biden drew a comparison between the Declaration of Independence from the British Empire in 1776 and the rapid recovery from the coronavirus. Indonesia's government has ordered producers to prioritize medical oxygen amid a COVID surge and a shortage of oxygen in a number of cities. Indonesia is recording more than 25,000 new cases every day. Increased travel and highly contagious Delta variant have exacerbated the crisis. Bangladesh continued to battle with surging cases of COVID-19 in the country, as it reported the highest number of deaths and fresh infections in a single day on Monday. According to the latest figures released by the Directorate General of Health Services, DGHS, 164 people died and 9,964 people were infected in the last 24 hours on Monday. This is All India Radio, giving you the world news.
The centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443. And MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Welcome back to the World News. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a discussion on the COVID Global Conclave. In conversation are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Neelab Srivastav, journalist.
We are talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, its challenges and technological solutions today. And in this context, today there was this COVID Global Conclave that we're talking about. While the scientific community, the India as such, the approach has been that no one is safe until everyone is safe. What is this COVID Global Conclave, Mr. Tandon, that was addressed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi today?
Yes, the Prime Minister Modi today shared his thoughts at the COVID Global Conclave. Now, this COVID Global Conclave is a digital platform which has been adopted by more than 50 countries. And in that context, the Prime Minister today spoke at the conference and he made a very major announcement that this COVID platform is being used in India as an open source. That means it is available to any country interested in the technology. That means sharing of the vaccine technology. This platform is now available. And in that context, the Prime Minister said that, and if I may add, the countries which have joined this platform, they include Canada, Mexico, Nigeria, Panama, Uganda, are some of the countries who have accepted to adopt the technology behind this COVID app. Now, speaking at this conclave, the Prime Minister Modi said that the Indian civilization considered the whole world as one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And that is the fundamental faith. And this has been fortified amid this pandemic. And that is why our technology platform for COVID vaccine, that is the platform which we now call as CoWIN, is being prepared to be made open source. And that context, the Prime Minister said that India has been committed to sharing all experiences, expertise, and resources with the global community in this battle. And our experience has shown that no nation, howsoever powerful that may be, cannot solve this challenge in isolation. So it has to be faced and challenged as a global family. And the technology is integral to our fight against COVID-19. And as Modi said that luckily the software is one area in which there are no resource constraints. That's why we made our COVID tracking and tracking app open source as soon as it was technologically feasible. He also mentioned about the success of the Arogya Setu app. And he said that with nearly 200 million users, the Arogya Setu app was a readily available package for developers. And having been used in India, the Prime Minister told the global audience that you can be sure that it has been tested in the real world for speed and its scale. So India's digital approach to vaccine, that was one of the main thrusts of the Prime Minister's address. And he said that given the importance of vaccine, India decided to adopt a completely digital approach. India is a developing country, but still it adopted a completely digital approach while planning its vaccination strategy. Now this helps people in proving that they have been vaccinated. There is a certificate we all know of. The moment we get vaccinated, we get a certificate. And through the Arogya Setu app, as we all know, our screen shows you are vaccinated. And this has helped in expediting the normalcy in the post-pandemic globalized world. Prime Minister said a safe, secure, and trustworthy proof helps people to establish when, where, and by whom they have been vaccinated. So basically, he was emphasizing that the digital approach also helps in tracking the usage of vaccination and minimizing the wastage. That was the thrust of the Prime Minister's speech. He said this particular conclave of COVID was the first step toward introducing this platform for the global audience. And through COVID, India has administered 350 million doses of COVID vaccine, including 9 million people in one day, just a few days ago. Vaccinated people do not need to carry around fragile pieces of paper to prove anything. It is all available in digital format. And he also highlighted the software. It's a very customer-friendly, user-friendly software as per the local requirements of the all other developing countries also. And then the main theme which the Prime Minister has been emphasizing elsewhere also, One Earth, One Health. He said he hoped that guided by this approach of One Earth, One Health, the humanity will certainly overcome this pandemic. That was the hope which Prime Minister himself in the global audience, and it was on a very, very positive note that he shared his thoughts with the international community, particularly from the developing countries.
One point, Mr. Tandon, that Prime Minister said that the digital approach is helping in tracking the usage of vaccination and minimizing the wastage. You also spoke about it. Vaccination is very important when it comes to battling this pandemic. We know for sure that there has been different compartments of issues with the vaccine. There is supply issue. There is also the hesitancy issue. We know in the country that we have essentially 2 vaccines and 1 more Sputnik V is here and more are supposed to come. So how do you see that important point where the Prime Minister stresses that the usage of the vaccine and minimizing its usage through technology is very important?
You know, one important point today's meeting, first of all, it was a virtual meet. There was participation from health and technology experts representing countries from across the globe. And the aim of today's conclave was to share not only India's own experience with regard to the universal vaccination, but also to share the experiences. That means the Indian experiences and the Prime Minister today shared with the rest of the world. And therefore, the idea was to make our fight against COVID-19 a joint fight and win over COVID together as a global team. And as you were saying that the Prime Minister really unfolded the story behind the development of such a scalable, inclusive and open platform, which is now popularly being known as CoWIN. And it is the tech backbone of India's vaccination drive. And this is how the Prime Minister emphasized the importance of technology, particularly during this pandemic, and how quickly the Indian technology experts and health experts were able to set up Arogya Setu app. And sometime if you look at it, India, which just a couple of decades ago was used to be called living in a bullet cart age, is now considered as an IT guru. And this, our technology experts have proved during this pandemic that India is one of the very few countries which have made full use of the digital approach to vaccination. And that success story, this is exactly what the Prime Minister shared with the rest of the world. And it is, he said, is now this platform is an open source and it is available to any country if they are interested in this technology. And that approach, very positive approach, sharing with the 50 countries across the globe, I think is a very, very significant and showing that India is taking lead, not only in fighting COVID-19, but also updating technology as and when required, the upgradation of technology. And this has been an integral part of our fight against COVID. And this software, as I said earlier, is one area in which there are no resource constraints. That's why it's available to everybody. So I think it was a very significant platform which the Prime Minister used to reach out to the global community to share with them the experiences of India in fighting COVID-19 and also tackling the vaccination drive on such a massive scale. India, huge size country, it is now vaccinating people almost one Australia a day, more than maybe, perhaps. And this is something which is surprising the whole world, how India has been handling this pandemic situation and also its very successful vaccination drive.
Is this an indication towards the global cooperative approach that India is doing vis-a-vis the pandemic management and combating the pandemic, and also in the perspective that we initially also had essentially a member of the COVAX also, where we did this exercise of vaccine maitri, where certain countries who probably would not able to get vaccines, India did supply them vaccines, and the kind of technology that it is now leveraging is sharing with the other countries so that more and more people get vaccinated and the globe as such is safe from the pandemic itself.
While sharing India's experiences, the Prime Minister said that when it was launched in India, and the idea was that to enable all the citizens to first register themselves for the COVID-19 vaccination and locate their nearest vaccination center, they can also download their vaccination certificate from the COVID app. Now, all these things look very surprising because even now, India, by the developed world, is considered as a very developing country, but we have proved that the use of updated technology, India is second to none in the use of technology, and this platform particularly is for the good of the entire world. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, as the Prime Minister often says, is the approach to have a universal brotherhood and help each other. And in that context, India has shown the lead to the world that how technology can be helpful, not only in its fight against COVID-19, but also having a complete vaccination drive, a grand success, which India has been doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. London, for talking to us.
Thank you.
China has continued its crackdown on technology companies after ordering the removal of ride-sharing group Didi Chuxing from Chinese app stores. The Cyberspace Administration of China, CAC, on Monday announced it was investigating 3 more tech companies. The crackdown began on Friday when the CAC announced it was investigating Didi, telling the company to stop registering new users and drivers for its app. On Sunday, the CAC ordered Didi be removed from Chinese app stores. The company said that it would resolutely implement authorities' demands. Prasad Bharati special correspondent in Beijing says that just 2 days ago, Didi Chuxing, the company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, raised $4.4 billion in the biggest listing by a Chinese company in the US since Alibaba in 2014. 3 other companies targeted on Monday are Boss Jiffin, an online recruitment company, and Chinese truck-hailing apps Yunmanman and Hochebang, which merged in 2017 to form Full Truck Alliance. The CAC's announcement cited suspected violations of China's national security and cyber security laws. The CAC said the probes were being conducted under new cyberspace procedures enacted on the 1st of June that strengthened oversight of companies operating critical information technology infrastructure that could touch on national security. China's financial and competition watchdogs have already reined in companies including Jack Ma's Ant Group and Alibaba and e-commerce group Meituan. And now a report from the business world.
The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange climbed 395 points or 0.75% to finish at 52,880. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange gained 112 points or 0.71% to settle at 15,834. In global equity markets, Asian stocks traded mixed. China's Shanghai Composite Index, South Korea's Kospi and Singapore's Straits Times gained 0.4% each. On the other hand, Hong Kong's Hang Seng and Japan's Nikkei 225 both fell 0.6%. European shares were up in intraday trade. Crude oil prices rose in intraday trade. Brent crude prices were trading around $76.50 per barrel. Back home, gold prices climbed 45 rupees at multi-commodity exchange for August contracts amid gains in gold prices in international markets. Gold was trading at 47,330 rupees per 10 gram. Silver prices fell 40 rupees to trade around 70,150 rupees per kilogram for July contracts when reports last came in. And the rupee today appreciated 44 paisa in afternoon trade to 74 rupees and 31 paisa against the US dollar. Anubha Rohatgi for World News, All India Radio.
Moving on to sports, in tennis, world number one Novak Djokovic and Canadian Denis Shapovalov win their respective fourth-round matches to enter the quarterfinals of the Wimbledon tournament. Defending champion Novak Djokovic defeated Christian Garin 6-2, 6-4, 6-2 to reach his 50th Grand Slam quarterfinals. 22-year-old Denis Shapovalov became the fourth Canadian man in history to reach the final 8 at Wimbledon after beating Roberto Bautista Agut in straight sets. Meanwhile, in the women's single, number one seed Ashley Barty navigated through the quarterfinals after a tricky encounter, winning 7-5, 6-3 against Roland Garros champion Barbora Krejcikova. In another quarterfinal match, number 8 seed Karolina Pliskova continued her fine form to book her spot in the quarterfinals at Wimbledon by beating wildcard Lyudmila Samsonova 6-2, 6-3. Number 2 seed Arina Sablenka set up an intriguing tie against Onus Jabeur in the next round after beating Elena Rybakina 6-3, 4-6, 6-3. In Eurocup Football 2020, Italy will clash with Spain in the first semi-final at Wembley late Tuesday night, while England will take on Denmark in the second semi-final on Wednesday. Italy beat Belgium 2-1 in the first quarter-final to extend their unbeaten run to 32 matches. Spain advanced by beating Switzerland 3-1 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. England crushed Ukraine 4-0 in Rome to set up a last-four clash against Denmark. Denmark overcame the Czech Republic 2-1 to make it to the last four.
World champion boxer and London Olympics bronze medalist MC Mary Kom and men's hockey team captain Manpreet Singh have been named as flag bearers of the 200-strong Indian contingent in the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Games on the 23rd of July. The Indian Olympic Association also confirmed that champion wrestler Bajrang Punia will be the flag bearer of the Indian contingent at the closing ceremony on the 8th of August. With only a few days remaining for the start of the Tokyo Olympics, All India Radio brings a special series on India's medal prospects at the sporting extravaganza. Today, we bring you India's hopes in the men's rowing event.
Rowers Arjun Jat and Arvind Singh have brought immense pride to India by qualifying for the men's doubles event. The duo secured a spot at the Tokyo Olympics by finishing second at the Continental Regatta event in the Asia-Oceania tournament. Arjun speaks about his preparation for Tokyo. Training during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic has been very challenging. Arjun talks about how he adopted to meet this challenge.
कोविड की वजह से चैलेंज आ रहे थे कि कहीं कोरोना की वजह से कुछ दिक्कत ना हो जाए, कैंप की ड्रॉप ना हो जाए, वो बाहर जाना कहीं जाना अवॉइड किया और पूरा सैनिटाइजर मास्क लगाना जैसे जैसे को सब बताते थे वैसे हम चलते थे.
Arjun describes his journey in the sport of rowing.
सर मैं 2015 में सेना में आया था. उसके बाद में मेरे को 2016 में रोइंग में लेके गए थे. तो उसके बाद में जैसे सीनियर बंदों को देखा, उनका नाम सुना, तो मैं भी सोचा कि मैं भी कर सकता हूँ.
Arjun and Arvind set sail to script a new chapter in India's rowing history at the Tokyo Olympics. They have all of India's heartiest wishes to carry them ahead to their goal. Siddharth Singh, Sports Desk.
निशाना लक्ष्य तेरा सामने है जीत के है आना.
Delhi's Bhavna Mamgain today won the AIR News Olympic quiz, being the first to send the right answer. She expressed her feelings while speaking to AIR News.
मैं आकाशवाणी समाचार की नियमित श्रोता हूं और हमारा पूरा परिवार हम सब मिलकर आकाशवाणी समाचार सुनते हैं, जिसमें बातें कम होती हैं और खबरें ज्यादा. आकाशवाणी समाचार सभी को सुनना चाहिए क्योंकि इसमें सही और सटीक खबरें होती हैं और कम समय में हमें ज्यादा जानकारी प्राप्त होती है. सभी से बोलूंगी, सुनते रहिए आकाशवाणी समाचार.
All India Radio's Olympic quiz, launched on the 1st of this month, has received tremendous response from across the country. Hundreds of listeners have emailed their responses. To take part in the Olympic quiz, tune into the Sports Scan program.
India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar on Monday released the regulations and poster for the 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India. The festival will be held in Goa from 20th to 28th of November this year. The International Film Festival of India, IFFI, is reckoned as one of Asia's oldest and India's biggest international film festivals. The 52nd edition of this film festival will be held in a hybrid format, considering the success of the 51st edition held in January 2021. The festival is being organized by the Directorate of Film Festivals, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, in collaboration with the State Government of Goa and the Indian film industry. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Guardian writes that hundreds of Afghan security forces flee as districts fall to Taliban. The Globe and the Mail reports that the ship that blocked Suez Canal to be released as settlement is reached. The publication also reports that Peru election results will be delayed over unproven fraud claims. Financial Times reports that EU to develop investment initiative to counter Chinese influence. Wall Street Journal writes that Facebook, Twitter, Google threaten to quit Hong Kong over proposed data laws. Sputnik News reports hackers behind Kaseya attack demand $70 million in ransom to decrypt locked systems.
Head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City State, Pope Francis, was doing well after surgery of an inflamed large colon. He was expected to spend around 7 days recovering in hospital, the Vatican said. Pope Francis is in good general condition, alert and breathing spontaneously, spokesman Matteo Bruni said in a statement on Monday, adding that the surgery lasted about 3 hours.
In Japan, rescue teams battling heavy rain pulled survivors from their ruined homes after a landslide struck the coastal city of Atami. 3 people have lost their lives and dozens are still missing after a torrent of mud swept the city southwest of Tokyo on Saturday. Authorities said an elderly couple was among 23 people rescued till Sunday. Japanese media showed footage of rescue workers searching for life in the remains of crushed buildings. Some 80 people are still unaccounted for, according to the city mayor. On Monday, there were about 1,500 rescue workers searching at the site, including police, firefighters, and members of the military, according to reports. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. India's CoWIN platform is now open source. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlights India's commitment to share experiences, expertise and resources with the global community to fight COVID-19. US President Joe Biden says COVID-19 is yet to be vanquished in his Independence Day speech. Boxer MC Mary Kom and men's hockey team captain Manpreet Singh named flag bearers of the Indian contingent for the opening ceremony Tokyo Olympics. In Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic and Denis Shapovalov advanced to the men's single quarterfinals. In Eurocup football, Italy to clash with Spain in first semi-final at Wembley tomorrow. And the 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, will be held in Goa from 20th to 28th of November this year. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan, Vaishnavajan, by artists from Algeria on their National Day. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.